This cake is filled with a glossy, rich chocolate ganache. It's light, moist, and airy sponge cake, perfect for any occasion. I turned it into a surprise piñata cake for my daughter's birthday. To start with, let's make a ganache frosting. With 130 grams butter, 70 ml double cream, and 170 grams dark chocolate. I will make it in a double boiler. My pan is already simmering. The water is not supposed to touch the pan. We just need the steam to melt everything. So we add in our chocolate, our butter, our double cream, a pinch of salt to bring the flavors out and balance the sugars so it will taste more chocolatey. Keep stirring until it's all completely combined. Look at this, it already looks so yummy. Unlike normal ganache, this doesn't set to be super firm. It will remain silky and glossy, which make it very easy to work with. After everything has melted nicely, set it aside to cool down, and it will also firm a bit so that it's easy to spread on our cake later. It will not remain this watery. You will see with time it's going to start to firm a bit. And now it's time for us to start making our cake. I am going for 2 layers, and I will start by mixing the wet ingredients. 50 grams cocoa powder. Don't use drinking chocolate, go for baking cocoa and choose a good quality. 100 grams light brown sugar, and then a half teaspoon vanilla extract, and 250 ml boiling water. I'll be measuring it using my weighing machine, which will be about 250 grams is equal to 250 ml. Mix it well until everything is well combined. Make sure you get rid of all the little lumps of cocoa powder and that your sugar is completely dissolved. Set this aside to cool down while we beat the butter and the sugar together. I have 135 grams soft butter and 150 grams caster sugar. Caster sugar is finely ground granulated sugar, but not powdered sugar. It's between granulated sugar and powdered sugar. Beat that together until it's pale and fluffy. And after about 5 minutes, it should look like this. Way more pale as I started with. I will be adding 3 eggs, and I'll be adding the eggs one by one, beating really well after each one, so about 1 minute. And then when everything is well incorporated, I'm going to add my sieved flour. I have 225 grams. And not to forget the baking powder. I have 1 teaspoon baking powder and half teaspoon baking soda. I will fold this really slowly using my lowest speed, or just use a spatula. Now I will add our mixture, and I will continue mixing everything together on low speed. Make sure you scrub the side time to time to get a homogeneous mixture. This looks really good. And since I am going for 2 layers, I will be dividing my butter into 2 equal parts. I will weigh that out so that I have exactly equal parts. I will use 20 centimeter pans, and I will bake these 170 degrees, so 25 to 27 minutes. Use a skewer to make sure everything is baked all the way through. Let your cake to cool for about 15 minutes before you remove the cake from the tin, and then you put it on a rack to completely cool down before you start using your frosting. And now it's time to decorate our cake, and our ganache is looking perfect. Please subscribe if you're enjoying this recipe. Trim a bit. You see this little dome? You can use a bread knife or a cake leveler if you have one. And you can now put your cake on a turntable if you have one. I will just be leaving my cake on this plate. Once you have cut the top off, it should look like this. Since I am going for a surprise in the cake, the best time to make the hole for the sweets is before spreading the ganache. But I did make a mistake and I did spread my ganache before. But I was still able to save it on time before I covered the whole cake with ganache. So this is how you make the hole. Try to line up as much as you can and make the hole in the middle, starting with the first cake. Layer the second cake and make the second hole, layering with the first cake, and push it down into the bottom layer. By the way, you can use a cookie cutter. I'm just using a glass. Make sure it's something sharp. That's why I'm using a wine glass. And then you remove the cake that you don't need out. Do not make the hole to be super big because your cake will lose stability and it can fall off. And it's time to finish this cake with the rest of the ganache. By the way, I am not so keen of making the sides of my cake to be super smooth because I will be covering the sides with Mikado. And for the top, lightly press the palette knife across, back and forth to make this pattern. I will be using about 400 grams of Mikado and just stick it on the side like this. And guys, that's the finished cake. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this recipe. And let's get a slice out.